The Pythagorean theorem is named after the Greek mathematician Pythagoras, and Pythagoras discovered something about right triangles. Now, a right triangle has one 90-degree angle here. It has a leg, this side length and this side length are called legs. A leg A of length A, leg of length B, and this is the hypotenuse. It's always opposite to the right triangle. So it's usually the longest, it's always the longest side of a triangle, of a right triangle. So we will call that C. So what Pythagoras found is that if you took a right triangle and you took one of the sides, let's say side B, what he did was he took and made a square from that length. So I'll just show you here this square. So he found the area of this square, and the area of this square would be represented by b times b, because this side would also be b. So he found the area of the square. So the area inside here could be represented by b times b, or you could just say b squared. It's the same thing. So if we assume that the area inside here is b squared, what he found was that if he took the area of this square and added it to the area of this square, it equaled exactly the area of this square. So the area of this square could be represented by a times a, which we usually just say a squared. B times b would be b squared, and this square would be c times c. So this length here is c, this would be c, so the area would be c times c, or c squared. And I know these aren't precise squares. So what the theorem states is that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. So if you take this area and add it to this area, it'll be the same as this area. So what that gives us is an equation, so that if you know what any two of these are, you can figure out the third. Okay, any two, you will be able to figure out the third. So for example, if the side length of A is 3, then 3 squared will be that. And if the side length of B is 4, and we'll try to determine what the side length of C is, or the side length C. So 3 squared, 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4 times 4 is 16, equals 25. So we know that C squared is equal to 25. Now we have to figure out what C is. So if you have squared, you know that the opposite of squaring something is the square root. So we have to find the square root of 25 in order to find out what C is. So C equals the square root of 25. So you have to think to yourself, what number times itself equals 25? Or you can use the square root function on your calculator to determine that C, the side length C, will be 5, depending on what the units are, 5 centimeters or meters or whatever. But we need to find the square root. And finding the square root is, for most numbers, you're just going to use your calculator, but you just need to find a number which, when you multiply it by itself, will equal that. So if you know any two side lengths of a triangle, of a right triangle, you should be able to find the third by using this Pythagorean theorem's the little formula, and then finding the square root of c squared.